The administrative change that was announced this week has no impact on our compliance with the Freedom of Information Act. That this is entirely consistent with the policy that's been in place for quite some time now, for a number of years. And the fact is, this change in the regulations is merely an effort to comply with a court ruling that was issued almost 6 years ago. And the regulations were merely updated to reflect that court's decision. It is the Office of Administration, for example, that is responsible for releasing the waves records on a quarterly basis. These are the records that, for the first time, give the American public insight into who's actually visiting the White House. You'll recall that at least one previous administration went to the Supreme Court to prevent the release of those records, but yet it's this administration, through the Office of Administration, that voluntarily releases those records. The Office of Administration, you'll recall, is also responsible for, on an annual basis, releasing the list of White House employees and their salaries. Again, this is consistent with the transparency measures that other administrations have abided by, but it's certainly one that this administration has updated by making that information available electronically and in a form, and essentially in a machine-readable form. So this is cleanly in line with the kind of priority that this administration has placed on transparency. The Freedom of Information Act request does not apply to the Office of Administration. That is not a decision that was made by the administration. That was a decision that was made by a judge. And updating those regulations was something that was done to ensure that those regulations were consistent with the judge's ruling. They don't have any bearing on the way that the administration responds to Freedom of Information Act requests. The administration, in fiscal year 2014 alone, processed 647,142 FOIA requests. And over 91% of those requests resulted in the release of either some or all of the requested records. That is the 6th year in a row in which more than 91, at least or more than 91% of Freedom of Information Act requests were complied with in a way that included response of either part or all of the requested records.